tonight I want to welcome to the podcast for the first time A&T Hall of Fame linebacker, one of my personal favorites from my era, B.J. Little. What's going on, B.J.?
Hey, what's going on? I tell you, the honor is mine. I'm just honored to be on this podcast with three legendary Aggies right here. Y'all got me fired up just by having me on here.
No, listen. Last week, I don't know if you saw the show last week, we had the iconic Chris McNeil, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I always was thinking of a way to bring you into the fold because you were in an era right that end of the late 90s, the early 2000s. We're right before the internet era, right? So a lot of people don't understand just how dominant you were. And the closest comparison I could say is you were like the Ray Lewis for the Blue Devil defense.
I take that all day, twice on Sunday.
and you know, everybody's talking about Mount Rushmores and, you know, your all-time defensive list. It's going to be hard for me to think of another middle linebacker that I will put the pencil in besides B.J. Little. And like I said, when I was, you and I went to school around the same time. Yep. And I just remember how you manned that middle of that defense. I guess it was a 4-4 at that time.
Yes. And
y'all had some legendary epic battles in that Mid-East Athletic Conference. You was guys with the HBCU National Champions in 1999.
Yep.
But I've said too much. But just kind of give us a little bit of idea what it was like to play back then.
Oh man, I tell you what, I started in '97 and I played through 2000. So yes. I started every game that I was there. So I happened to be on the field with Chris McNeil. And so
okay.
So being a freshman, starting in the Central game, and I got this animal sitting up here beside me, and I got House and Pale Shack and Big Rube and, you know, just that whole crew. That was the beginning of it. Matter of fact, I was so afraid to make a mistake that I had to make some plays. Because if I made a mistake, I might not never been back on the field again.
and I think you just said it, but I read somewhere that you started every single game when you were at A&T, all 4 years.
Yes.
As a true freshman to a senior.
Yeah. Well, I had a red shirt year in there.
Okay, so you red shirt. Okay.
Yeah. And so, but then again, I was out there with Sid White and all those guys. So I got a chance to look at those guys. And they tried to put me at outside linebacker, but I wanted to be in the box. And so I ended up getting in the box, and they found out that I know how to read a guard. So they put me in there, and next thing you know, I was playing.
So we all know Craig was one of the original season ticket holders at A&T. Craig, tell the people who don't know. Like I said, you were right at the cusp of the internet era. So you wasn't in on Twitter. You don't know. I mean, they didn't have all these highlights going on 24/7. A lot of people might be sleeping on your resume. Craig, tell them a little bit about this dude.
BJ was a terror. His quickness at getting to the ball in anticipation of where people were going to be was just unbelievable. It's like he was, like I said before, it was like he's in the huddle, in the offensive huddle on every play. I mean, and he would just flat out hit you. I mean, there weren't no breaking away from tackles from BJ Little. Wasn't any at all. I agree with you, Thriller. I think he was the best linebacker ever played here. I really do.
Hey, I'll take it. But honestly though, it just all came into preparation. Like I was small. Like when I first started, I was 202 pounds playing middle linebacker. And so I was small and having to take on fullback.
In that era.
Yeah. We played South Carolina State. And the year before, their fullback on the ISO, you know, bruised the sternum of 1 hour linebacker. So I was sitting here thinking like, man, can I play in this era? Ted White, all those guys. You know, my first homecoming at Aggie Stadium, it was against Howard. Ted White walk out there 6'4", 230. And I'm 5'11", 202 pounds. How am I talking to this guy? But yeah, it was and then, you know, it was fast forward. Then it became, you know, Darryl Clue, him and I, you know, like it was gonna be a test to see who knew more on the defense. Like I knew every position on the defense. And then Clue, got in there and he learned it all. And so we was able to change defenses. Like we could go from a 4-4 to a 3-4 in a game. And so we could change it because we had guys on our team that had that kind of football IQ.
Who was your defense coordinator back then?
It was Wayne Hicks.
Wayne Hicks, right, yeah. I was trying to think of that name.
I'll be honest. Sometimes when we couldn't get the call from him, we made the call on the field. And so it's just, we just trust, and he trusted us. And so we were gonna get it done regardless. So
hey Doug, who's that remind you of that we talked to recently?
Hey, the wild boy, young Wilder, huh?
Yeah, the headless horseman. And
that was an animal too.
And listen, that's what I'm talking about. I don't care what era you played in. When you got that dog in you, man, it just resonates and it transcends anything. Like I believe Antoine Wilder could play for y'all. And I know you could play for them.
No doubt.
And the thing that people don't understand was you guys were so cerebral. I mean, you were a madman in that middle, but you guys were able to diagnose on the fly because you played against FAMU, and they had a very innovative offense called the Gulf Coast offense. And no one really saw a lot, and you found a way to shut that down.
Well, my freshman year with Chris Mack and them, we ended up beating FAMU in overtime in Aggie Stadium. That was like my first time ever. Like I had 2 interceptions in that game. I had like 13 tackles. That was like my first time ever playing football at A&T, really. That I can say I had a decent game. And then the next year, they beat us 51-12 on their homecoming.
I remember.
And so we go down there and, they called timeout. They're up 45-12. I guess they didn't have enough points. They're up 45-12, 11 seconds left. They called timeout and threw a bomb, touchdown, 51. And so we thought about that very next year. And then when they had to come to Aggie Stadium and the championship on the line, so it ended up being the MEAC championship in Aggie Stadium on that day.
1999. I was there.
We ready.
That was our theme song. Hey,
Pastor Troy.
Pastor Troy. That's what we played. We played that the whole time. And so, before that game, like the year before they beat us in our regular base defense, they beat us in our 4-4. I mean, they got us. I mean, we 51-12. I mean, and so that very next year, we changed our whole defense in a week to be able to play against them. That was the first time like we played with 2 high safeties, and we never did that. And then we always played cover 3 or either man covers, but we played with 2 high safeties, and we had Dwayne Carpenter, Sammy Rogers, and Ray Massey.
Ray Massey, my man.
Yes. And so we changed the whole defense. And that game was so crazy because walking down the hill, like Coach Hayes, the Death March, they got the locker room now. But we walked from Hope. We walked from Hope. I mean, we walked about a mile. We called it the Death March though, so we rallied behind. So we walking down there, and I had visualized that game that night right before. Like that was my thing. I tried to play the game in my head. So the night before, as we're doing the Death March, I saw it in my dream that they had on green pants. I don't know what that was, but when they had on green pants, I turned around the room. I say, "Oh yeah, they're going down today." And so we go out there, and they score first.
They did first drive.
And when they score first. I mean, it was easy. They scored first, and I remember I just was looking at the crowd because I had never heard a crowd other than homecoming at Aggie Stadium cheering for football. Like everybody was all in for it. Wasn't a band. It wasn't.
That was a football day.
Hey, it was 18,000. 18,000 that game. I was there, and I got some stories to tell about that. But 18,000. Go ahead.
18,000 that day, and I look around, and they score first, and I'm like, nah, this can't happen. So a tear rolled down my eye, and I'm not that kind of emotional person. Yeah. But a tear rolled down my eye, and I look over at, like I always call my best friend, Robert Williams. I look at him, and a tear rolled down his eye, and we don't even say anything. We just look at each other and like, it's on. But from that point on, I don't think they had any points. And then our offense, who you talking about Blue Death, like we didn't care about what our offense did. Like it wasn't even about if they scored or not. It was when we get back on the field, we're gonna make something happen. So, and we knew that it only took a matter of time because with Eric Farmer, Mo Smith, if they keep coming,
right,
eventually somebody gonna break. And so in doing that game, FAMU broke, and we ended up winning the championship that year.
Hey, let me ask you this though: where did you get that confidence from? Because the week before, I believe, didn't like FAMU beat up on Southern?
Yeah.
And they put like 60 points on Southern. Southern was like one of the top teams in black college football at the time. And all the pundits had FAMU winning in a rout.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess the only people that didn't believe it were the people on our campus. Because there was a buzz, I can tell you as a student, there was a buzz around campus that this was a big game. And you didn't have to tell us that. We just knew. And like you say, it wasn't quite homecoming, but for the final home game of the season, for that type of atmosphere, it was incredible. Incredible.
Well, the confidence came from preparation. I mean, we knew their offense back and forth. Darryl Clue. I mean, we had Darryl Clue and Tamel Perkett, Josh Rogers, Von Keith. We had them guys in the behind us. We know if we can get to the quarterback, it was a wrap. And so going in that game, and then Coach Hayes was just basically like, I tell you what, man, and I got a bad. My Coach Hayes is terrible. But
that ain't bad.
But I tell you what, man, they like to be outside. They like to spread it out. We're gonna get their tail in the phone booth. He didn't say tail though. We're gonna put them in the phone booth, and we're gonna hit them in the mouth, man. And so all week we're like, we're gonna get them in the phone booth. We're gonna get them where they can't move. We're gonna get them where they can't spread it out and do all that pretty stuff. So yeah, it was about hitting them and being physical with them the whole game.
That's awesome.
Man, it's funny that you said you dreamed about that game, because Hayes has an interview where he said the same thing. He dreamed about that game. So that just speaks to how prepared you guys were, that you knew the game so well and did so much film prep and study that you guys were literally dreaming about how the game was going to unfold. And, when you dream about it up like that, man, those things kind of unfold and manifest into themselves. So, man, that was easily one of my top most memorable games at A&T. And you guys, that 99 team, was my most memorable favorite team for sure. My big brother Chris Caldwell, CC's on that team. So I had a chance to kind of run behind you guys, man, and kind of grow up behind you guys. And that was a team I had a lot of access with. And you guys were definitely some personalities, but when it came to playing football, man, there wasn't a unit that was more close or more talented. I still think that's one of the most talented teams. And the depth, I mean, you spoke of with all those guys on defense, all those guys on offense, unselfish guys, man, because I think, guys were just ready to make a play, waiting to make a play. I think Hilton made a play late in that game, got in the end zone. Mo broke a big run, and CC took one over the top to kind of ice the game late against FAMU. So those are moments, man, that I hold deep in my heart. And to see Coach Hayes raise that trophy at Aggie Stadium, which we know was his last time, as a champion, to go out and win one at home, and him chanting that, we read it.
We read it.
I tell you, like that game right there, like that team, like out of all the teams I played on, I guess it was the best. But like that 97 team we played on, I felt like we had a lot of superstars. We had Bash Knight, we had Shoefoot, we had Chris Mack, we had Pale Shack, we had House. It was a bunch of superstars, but the team was not quite there. And then we ended up going like 7-4 with three running backs on our team ended up playing in the NFL. And Eric Farmer was probably the best. Well, I know Mo and all them gonna, get on me for saying that, but he was the heart and soul in the backfield. And so we had that team. And then in 98, our team we were up front, we were real young, but our secondary, that's when Darryl Clue and Josh Rogers and all those guys start coming of age. And then we still had Bass Knight and Shoefoot, so we were still good there. And then, but 99, we felt like we had no superstars. We felt like we just had a bunch of just hard-nosed, players that just played for each other. And so
you're right. I remember I showed up to the game. I always couldn't wait to get to the game and see, number one, what uniforms we were wearing, even though we only had like 2 or 3 options, but what uniforms we were wearing, and like who the ball was going to in warm-ups, like who was getting the start, the reps at one. I know that sounds crazy, but man, I showed up and we was tossing the ball to Mo Smith. I'm like, Mo Smith? We don't go with Mo Smith and run it back. Like Mo Smith. And then it didn't take long. We were running that little short pitch, that quick pitch to Mo. It looked like you were going to toss it wide, and he cut that thing up, man, and it was downhill. And I said, oh, we're gonna do that.
Oh,
all right, we can rock with that.
That's
and
what
I mean, that special season he had, man, and just what you guys were able to do, man. I'm telling you, that was a special group, man. But
and like you said it, and I didn't mean to cut you off at all. Like you say that, but I tell you who was the guy in the backfield. I remember Maurice Hicks when he first came in, and so Maurice,
in 2000, right?
Yeah, he came in 2000.
The following year.
And at that time, that was my senior year. And we should have been better that year, but, things happen. But so Maurice Hicks came in, and I remember Coach Sanders saying, BJ, y'all had never tackled that guy in the backfield. And I'm like, because at practice, Coach Hayes, like, if the offense did good, then the practice was good. So we tried to make it. So we tried to make sure that we got out of practice all the time at that time anyway. And so they were like, y'all ain't never hit this guy in the back. And I didn't even really notice him like that. And Massey, none of us. So I'm like, okay, I'm about to end this right now. I was like, okay, all right, okay, we ain't hit him in the backfield. I keep hearing about it. So we ran the power, I don't know what we called it. It was some power off tackle with what we ran. And so I guessed a lot. So as soon as I saw that tackle block down, I'm gone. So tackle blocks down, I jumps in the backfield, and it's just me and him in the backfield. Out of all the running backs we ever had, they were going down right there, I jump in the backfield, and I wrap and wrap that air. And he did 2 moves on me and went to the side, and I was like, woo. I was like, man, did y'all see that? That's going to be the dude. And then the next game, he went for 200 and 300, and I'm like, yep, I saw that in practice.
That speaks to his ability, because we definitely remember you being in on every tackle, man. That's what I remember most about your time on the field is it seemed like you was in on every single tackle, every play. Like BJ Little on the tackle, so that's all you heard ringing out from the stadium. So, man, glad to know you still connected.
Let's take it back to the beginning, though. So where'd you play high school ball at?
I played at Union High School, South Carolina.
Union, South Carolina. Yep. Okay. So did you always play linebacker, or were you like a quarterback and then switch?
No, matter of fact, I played the bench at first. Until one day they stuck me at linebacker. And I was like, I don't even know football for me. So they stuck me at linebacker, and because I was a D, somewhat of a DB. I thought I was. And our coach was like, BJ, our best athletes at the school play linebacker. Just give it a shot. So I'm like, man. And so the first day, we making calls, and I'm making them. I'm like whispering the calls, and they own me the first day by making the call. There's gonna be thousands of people in the stands. And I'm like, I don't even want to do this. And so the first time I hit somebody and realized that it didn't hurt, I was like, oh yeah, that felt pretty good. So let me see if I can do it again. All right, okay, this don't hurt. So let's keep hitting. So that's how I started playing linebacker.
And the thing about it is, though, you would pop some people, but you didn't miss a lot. It wasn't like it wasn't hit or miss. You were always going to stop that guy from moving forward.
Well, that was what I pride myself on is not missing. I'm like, a big hit is to me is sort of lucky. You got to catch it at the right time. But like my goal was just to get him on the ground. And so if I could get back there, I don't want to get, juked anything. If I get him on the ground, then we make the play. Then snap it again.
Gotcha. And it's ironic because this week we play Hampton, and in that 1999 season, that national championship year, I think that was a turning point for you guys. When Hampton came to Aggie Stadium, they were big favorites, and it was still there was still a lot of unknown about A&T. I think we had, we definitely had a winning record. But people didn't know how good this team was until Hampton got in there, and you guys put the whammy on them. I think it was like 41-24 or something, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. It was like 41-6 before they ended up scoring 24. But yeah, we knew going in, like, for whatever reason, it really wasn't that game. It was really the Norfolk State game the week before.
That was the one, yeah.
When our quarterback, Rodney Woodruff, got hurt, and then we just changed our whole identity. We was trying to be like 50-50, but we knew we were just gonna have to grind and pound people. And so
the Jason Battle game.
Jason
Battle came.
Oh wow, that's another guy. Yeah,
that's my man right there, JB. Like I go to war with him anytime on the football field.
He hit Hilton over the middle for what proved to be the game winner, man. Get him going.
Yep.
And he was a baseball guy too, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
He was a two-sport athlete, right? Okay.
JB.
Yeah, JB.
That's my guy. I caught my first touchdown pass from JB. Shout out JB.
Did you?
Man.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. He was a senior when I was a freshman. So
I remember seeing you play at Ragsdale. You don't know we used to come out and check you out.
Hey man, we're trying to get something going, man. I was on my track. I was trying to follow behind you guys, man, for sure. You guys are the reason I came to T. So that's
man, I appreciate that.
But what was that old Pirate team like back then? Because they were high powered, right?
Yeah, but they were similar to us where they tried to play good defense and they ran the ball. They had I think Montreal Coley was their running back.
Yes, little short guy.
Yeah, he rushed for I don't know how many yards, but they tried to pound him. But we knew when we saw them on tape, we knew what was about to happen with them because they were not going to be more physical than us for 4 quarters. Because just think that 2 years before, when they first moved into the conference, they won it. They beat us like 7-2. It was like a, and we didn't think that they were that much better than us. We were actually surprised to see them go undefeated. Yeah. And but when they came to town, we knew, we needed to set the tone with them. If we were going to be anything during that season, we had to set the tone.
Gotcha. And are you following the team now?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are your thoughts about last week? We had a tough loss to Kennesaw State, and now we got to go to Hampton and try to revive our season.
Yeah, I actually was proud of the defense last week.
Okay.
Especially playing against a team who, hang their hat on running the football like that.
The triple option. Yeah.
And you want to shut them kind of teams down, but those teams are hard because they make you play discipline, for 60 minutes. And so you got to be disciplined. And I was proud of the way they played. And I think we have a talented team.
What's missing, BJ? What's missing?
I think it's the mentality. I think it's the mentality and the offensive identity, really. I think the defense has a good mentality, but not sure about what we got going on offense. I know we have talent, so it's just a, what are we? Are we going to be a physical running football team, or are we going to, 50-50 that thing? Are we going to, run it with Jermaine, or are we going to, what are we going to do?
You know what? I think, and Craig, you can chime in on this because this is kind of been your theme this show about the offense. But I think that Celebration Bowl, the last one, 64 points. I think that's a gift and a curse, because in that game everything worked.
Right.
We were versatile. Yeah. We ran the ball. We had the long run by Jermaine Martin. We threw the ball. We threw it to the tight end. Everything that we dialed up worked. And I think that, we kind of figured, hey, we can do this all the time. And instead of being a master of one thing, we became like a jack of all trade. And now, like BJ said, we don't have that identity. You think is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think it's that we became too comfortable. I think we've become too comfortable on offense. We've had a lot of success over the last, say, 3 years, especially playing a particular style of football, and that was great with the competition that we were facing. And I'll go back to this, like I said before, the competition in this league is much different. It's better. It's better schemed, it's better prepared, it's better athletes. And you just can't just simply do say we're going to do this and this is what we're going to do, and then expect that to be enough. We're going to have to diversify what we do and how we do it. We can still be a running team, primarily a running team, but we're going to have to mix some things into it to get the running game to be consistent as it has been in previous years. we cannot go out there against teams like a Kennesaw or a Monmouth that we've got coming up in 2 weeks and say we're just going to simply impose our will. These people have got good athletes. These are very good football teams. These are top 20 football teams that we're going to be facing, and it's not enough. It's just not enough to just say we're going to run the football, we're going to throw in a pass here and there, and that's it, and forget about it.
Well, I think you guys are right, man. I think you do have to kind of establish an identity and play to an identity. But I think it takes a while and takes some games to kind of find out who you are and what your identity is. It's been a while since we played some football games, and this is a new team. We've got a bunch of new guys out there, new faces who are in some roles that they haven't been in before. So, ideally, we'd like to think, hey, this is what A&T does. This is what we do. The personnel changes your identity sometimes, and you have a guy on the field that can make some plays with his arm. So, part of you wants to take advantage of some of his strong attributes and some of his strong points. And so you're going to throw it a little bit, and you might do some things that you didn't do in the past. And so I look at our some of our old teams, what was our identity before Tariq Cohen showed up at Hampton? When he showed up and made plays, our identity changed that week. Like, all right, we're going with him, we're going to get him the ball. So even when, Key shows up and starts making plays, hey, the jump ball is an effective tool for our offense. That's part of our identity now. So sometimes those things happen in the season, which is why I like to play a cupcake early on, so you can have a 100-0 game and get some guys some opportunities, so you can see what guys can do and kind of start game planning and playing to what you think are your strengths. But that's also what practice is for. And those guys are confident in the kids that we have in our scheme. So some games it looks better than others. We scored the 60+ points in the Celebration Bowl. Hey, that speaks to our potential and what we should be able to do. And walking out of that game with the talent we've had and the way the roster looked, we thought, or we knew what our identity should be, but we also spoke to how many balls there were to go around and how we didn't know how we were going to spread it around. So that's a tough position to be in, to get it right, to get the ball spread around and to be productive and to get it right every week. So, I know a lot goes into the decision making. I pass off to the guys that have to make those decisions, but the heavy head wears the crown. Is that how it goes? What, heavy is the crown? Heavy is the head that wears the crown, something like that. It's hard being the man in charge, man, and being the guys who make the decisions. So, that's what coaches do, man, and hats off to anybody that has to make those calls. So.
And BJ,
BJ knows.
BJ's a coach now, right?
Like y'all was saying, I'm not gonna make excuses for this team, but they hadn't played in 2 years. They hadn't, and so it's still trying to get that muscle memory going. But the good thing about it is, even though we have a couple losses, all of our goals are right there in front of us.
Yes, sir.
If we continue, we have no margin for error anymore, though.
Right.
So if what we got to do now is learn from that Kennesaw State game. They're the 13th ranked team in the country.
They are.
They've been ranked for years now.
We're 0 for on the road. Those have been 3 tough road games. Those aren't easy road games to go win. First game coming off the layoff, second game at Duke, and then going down to the 13th ranked team in FCS. So,
but
it sounds crazy to say, but you're right, BJ, for sure.
Yeah, we learned from that, and all our goals, the playoffs, the conference championship. We're gonna need a little bit of help from Monmouth, but we got to beat them, and so we're fine if we improve and we use that game like we should.
All right, so look here. So we're 3-3, back to 500 on the season, 2-1 in the Big South. So Kennesaw State, obviously, they are undefeated, and they're going to have a tiebreaker over us by the head-to-head. Okay, they still have to play Monmouth. If we win out, and there could be a 3-way tie, you never know. But still looking too far ahead. We got a game this week. That's the only game on our schedule we need to worry about.
Yeah.
And guys, Hampton is it's a weird bunch because they only, I think they're 2-4, and they lost to Charleston Southern last week, I think like 35-3. It's terrible. Yeah. But here's the deal. And I was saying, I was on a podcast this week with HBCU Game Day, and I talked to some of the guys from the Hampton fan site, And I said that in a boxing match, you always got to worry if you have a boxer who can deliver a knockout blow and another boxer who has a glass jaw, because anything happen, right? I think as far as our secondary go, we're that box with the glass jaw. I can see any team we play from here on out attacking our secondary and having some big games. And in Hampton, they have a big arm quarterback, a transfer from Texas Tech, and they have a really good wide receiver named Jadakiss Bonds. And this guy is a player. So it's almost night and day from what we just came through with Kennesaw State.
Right.
If we're not ready in the back end, and it goes once again to those adjustments and being prepared, this could be a long day, but if we play well, we should win the route. So BJ, give me your assessment, BJ. What do you think the key is going to be?
I think you hit it right on the head. I mean, we got to get some pressure on the quarterback.
Yes.
I mean, so that's where it starts, especially when you have a secondary who's young. You got to get some pressure on the quarterback to make it easy on those guys. And again, like we were talking about offensively, we got to find ourselves offensively, and then it's going to be a team effort. And like you said, we can't let this last game beat us twice.
Right.
So we got to come out and learn from that one. And I think we'll be fine. It's a week-to-week process.
Hey, man, I think BJ made a great point about not let the last week beat you the next week. And
yes.
I wonder how much last week affected Hampton this week. You play a tough physical game like Kennesaw State, that carries over into the next week. You might have a few guys limping around. You might have a guy out. And we talked about how personnel affects your game plan and just your ability to make plays. I mean, let's be honest, every team is not as deep as we would hope to be. But, those games wear on you. And they came out and didn't play to the best of their ability. But I know they'll be up for us. They'll be back in Armstrong. And, hopefully we're able to shake off, that tough, hard-fought game last week and be ready and be healthy, ready to step out there and give our best effort, because Hampton ain't going to wait for us, that's for sure.
Hey, Craig.
Not by the home, by the sea.
Craig, give me so let's talk about offense, right? That's the theme. That's your theme this week. What do you want to see on Saturday? What will be the ideal game plan to attack this Hampton defense?
Mix it. You have to mix it up. They're a team that play a 3-4 and they blitz a lot. And so if we get the right mixture of plays between the run and the pass, we can hit them. We can hit them with some big plays. They give up a lot of yards because of getting caught out of position. And what I've seen of them this year, it's not so much as their personnel. They have a lot of youth on that team. They're basically a lot of sophomores on that team and the redshirt freshmen. And they're learning some things on defense, but they're being caught out of position a lot of times. They're not necessarily in the right spot where they need to be, or they overrun a play, and then all of a sudden they give up a big plays. We just have to be consistent. We've got to get some better. We got to take care of the problem of penetration. We gave up way too much penetration on our run game last week, and that was a killer. That's why the big reason why our running game didn't go.
And Craig, so Coach said that in the press conference he wanted Jalen Fowler to make better decisions. Does some of that include checking out of bad plays? Because you have this RPO stuff. So sometimes, if you see that safety creeping down, or you see, that linebacker about to shoot that gap, do you expect Fowler to be on the field and change to something more favorable? Is that realistic?
I don't think we have time to do that. We signal our players in from the sideline, so we kind of get set, check with me on the sideline, and then we get our play call in based off of what the defense sets up in. So sometimes that doesn't leave you much room to think or wiggle. I like to see us go up tempo sometimes and get some teams on their heels. But you're able to kind of manipulate the clock and control the game when you kind of putting those pieces in place. So I don't know. We'll see. You know, I think when he speaks of decision making, it may be in play decision making. If he's running, maybe get down or hit for the sideline or turn it up. Awareness, knowing what the first down is, reaching the ball over, maybe trying to get little things like that. Things that we might not see just watching the game as fans. Things that show up on film. Things that they know we're in the game plan that we might not have any clue about as casual fans, but. They know, and the fact that he said those things publicly lets Jalen know that he's got to tighten up on them, and they're things that coaches also lets me know that we're paying attention to detail, which is, what you want our guys to do. So,
yeah. And Craig, you want to finish your thought? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No problem.
Okay.
No, the biggest thing is that we just have to be consistent, and we need to be consistent in our play mixture. We ran our 3 wins in a row because of a 50-50 split, a near 50-50 split between the run and the pass.
Right.
And we got completely away from that this past week. Now, yes, Kennesaw State had something to do with that, but by the same token, we didn't make adjustments. So that's where I want to see us get back to. If we get that good mixture between the run and the pass and not try to force feed either one, we should be fine on offense.
And BJ, so let me get this right. So you are now a football coach.
Yes.
In Spartanburg.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So and you coaching defense?
Yes, I do.
Right. So tell me, as a defensive guy, even at the high school level, what gives you problems? Like, what type of offense that just gives you fits to make it hard to game plan for?
Well, like Craig said, a team that can do both, team that can run it as well as pass it, and then they're mixing in the RPO type stuff.
Yeah.
That type of stuff seems to give us problems. And if you're one dimensional, then we feel like we can take some stuff away from you. But when you can do both and we don't know what's coming, that makes it tough.
Got you. And also, don't you do some personal training? Aren't you in the gym? Okay, good. Now I got you here. Now let's put Hampton to the side, right?
Oh gosh.
We got G-Ho next about what? In less than 2 weeks, right?
Right.
Here you go, Craig.
I need a quick workout regimen. I gotta get in shape now. Can you give me some? Maybe you can send me stuff offline or whatever.
Surgery. That's the only way you're gonna get
hydrate now.
What's a 7-day miracle workout that we can use to get ready for G-Ho?
It would have to be some high intensity interval training.
Oh man!
And drink a lot of water and pray to God that it burns off before G-Ho.
Oh man! But for real though, you do training. So if someone wants to get in contact with you, maybe G-Ho is too soon, right?
Yeah.
But maybe they can get ready for the holidays or whatever. But can they get in touch with you somehow, and so you can link up and help them out?
Yes, I'm on all forms of social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I had went away from Twitter for a while, but I finally got back on, and I think it's a good place. So just all my social media stuff, just hit me up on it. I don't train as much as I did when I started because I was out of football for like 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Then I got sucked back into it and now, so I don't train as much as I used to, but I still, offer service. A lot of times I do stuff for free, but what's crazy when
don't say that.
What's crazy when I give it away, people don't want it.
They don't appreciate it.
But when they have to pay for it.
Right.
So I do still help people. So from time to time I will do some online clients or just, via social media type stuff, groups and all that kind of stuff.
Good deal. So like I said, we got Hampton this week. I think we kind of touched on what we were frustrated about in the Kennesaw State game. And I think, we all know we just need to improve in all facets across the board. But the kickoff is at 2:00 on Saturday. Any you gentlemen going to try to make it up there?
Still up in the air, man. I want to make it up there. Hopefully the weather's nice. Definitely don't want any wind. Got to get that kicking game back on track. But Armstrong Stadium can be blustery out there. But it all depends on what the boss wants to do. she's gearing up for homecoming. So we may have to stay back and get ready to usher in homecoming on midnight with the partaking in Aggie Shop Fest. That's for the young folk there.
Hey, so BJ, before we we don't want to skip over Hampton, but what is a G-Hole like for you?
Oh God. Well, remember when Coach Hayes was there, it wasn't for us.
Right.
Said, homecoming is not for y'all. It's for the people to come home and watch y'all win a football game. We got on the bus and we left. So we never did get to see homecoming much. But now, I just come up really just tailgating and just hanging out with, catching up, telling war stories. Everybody's so much better than they was now than we were when we played. So
I'll bet.
I never missed a tackle, so now, I average 20 tackles a game. But yeah, just sit around and just tell stories and just talk about Coach Hayes.
I bet. Hey, but look here, BJ, you got a trump card though, because not just telling your stories, you actually were inducted into the A&T Hall of Fame.
Oh, gosh.
What was it? 2018?
Yes.
2018, and you went in with some great guys too. But tell me, what was the experience like, man?
Wow, it was unbelievable because I never thought about anything like that. Being in especially A&T Hall of Fame. Like, are you kidding me? Like North Carolina, the University of North Carolina Agriculture and Technical State University. I got goosebumps now.
Wow.
But just it was just an honor to be going in and somebody had talked to me about it. Mo Smith talked to me about it, and then I'm like, I don't know about that. And then he said, he was like, man, you deserve to be in. I'm like, well, I'm thinking about all the guys that I played before me. I'm like, I don't know about that, but that finally got enough guts in me to kind of go through the process, and I was picked, and I was like, oh man. And so it still gave me goosebumps just thinking about it.
That's awesome.
Man, it was well deserved, man. Well deserved for sure. You definitely the Iron Horse. I got you. I mean, that streak of those games played, even with the break in there, I got an asterisk beside those games played. I got you and Kwasi Mitchell and myself as most consecutive games played in an Aggie uniform. So I got to give you the asterisk because you bumped me down the third with your all games played. I missed one, man, but I missed my second game, so I give you credit for that, man. I'll gladly take third behind the great BJ Little, man.
Hey, Doug, what's the number? What's the actual number?
I think Kwasi was like at 44 games or something like that. I think I was like at 42 or 43. And the playoff game helped, but those guys made a playoff run, so they got a few more games under their belt. So, a lot of guys have played. Not a lot of guys played from the first day they walked out on the field. Right. So I got that in my cap. I actually, this is BJ's day, but I got hurt like days before the Central game. Played anyway. Yep. Aggravated the injury, and then missed the Jackson State game we played at home. And from that point on, if we went out there, I was lacing them up. But
no doubt.
Hey man, I wasn't playing middle linebacker either, so I was out there on the edge, man. My jersey was clean sometimes at the end of the game, so I don't know if it equals out to what you guys were doing in the trenches, man.
You put in the work though.
Hey, so BJ, what was your favorite game? What was your favorite moment in the Aggie uniform?
Shoot. Probably that FAMU game. Well, matter of fact, that homecoming that year,
Howard.
We played against Bethune-Cookman and Patel Troutman was that
Troutman game.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a great homecoming. Homecoming.
Yeah, and we put.
I mean, you got like 5 games. Go ahead, B.
Yeah. It put when they put extra seating in the stadium, so it was right before the field before we start. Matter of fact, we ran out of the field house for the first time. And they put like extra seats. So they said it was like 35,000 people at that game.
Yeah. And, so that was like 2000?
That was 2000. Yep.
2000. Your senior year, 2000.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, just those 2 years alone.
That was the largest crowd ever.
Yeah, that was a great game.
That was a great game.
That was a battle. That was actually the game, I think, Patel got hurt. You guys beat up Patel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's when Super made his debut.
Yeah.
Who is this?
I almost rather saw Patel in the game.
You'd rather see Patel, yeah. And they were loaded. They had guys at running back. I mean, they were big, and BJ did his thing, man. BJ and the guys did their thing.
And now, what about that Tennessee State game?
See, now we're going. Now that Tennessee State game was.
That's what I was thinking. You got a whole list of games from that year they could choose from.
No. Let me set the stage, okay? So after you beat FAMU that year to get the MEAC championship, you earned the outright bid, the automatic bid to the 1AA playoffs in 1999, and you get seeded number 16 in the country.
Yep.
I don't know how that works. And you play against the undefeated Tennessee State Tigers. They were the number one team in the country, and they were loaded.
Yep.
And you went down to Nashville to the Tennessee Titans Stadium.
Yep.
And take it from there. Tell me what happened.
Yep. Well, we had played them in a Circle City Classic a couple years before then, so we kind of knew that team because we had already played them. And but that 99 year, out of the 11 quarterbacks we played, we put 9 of them out of the game. And so, so their quarterback was one of the 9. And so we went out and we just played football. And we got to the quarterback, and they never really threatened us, really. I mean, it never really was because we heard him pretty early, and it was Murray, I think. And we heard him
Leon
early.
Murray, yeah.
And next thing you know, they were in the I formation, and they didn't want to do that at all. And so we had them from the rip.
That was awesome. And I still say that's the only playoff win in A&T history. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
I think it might be the only playoff win in A&T history. Yeah. And that was the number one team in the country, knocked them off.
Wow.
Yeah, awesome.
That was a great.
It's the only time the 16 has ever beaten a 1 in the NCAA playoffs too.
There you go.
And that was a loaded year in the playoffs. The Youngstown State team with Tressel and his guys.
Georgia Southern.
I think that Georgia Southern, right, with Peterson, right? That was
the original Adrian Peterson.
Not to mention what FAM did going up to Appalachian State and knocking App off on that turf up there.
Yeah.
So I mean that was a classic FCS playoff year.
Yeah, I think they knocked Troy out of there too. I think they knocked App and Troy out the same year.
Because they advanced. Yeah, they did advance, and then they went up to I think they lost to Youngstown, right?
Last second play. Yep. That's it. All right, gentlemen. So we got a game Saturday, like we talked about, 2 p.m. There ain't no more room for error. We pretty much got to run the table. If we want to get to the postseason, or have a chance to get to the postseason, we got to win these next 5 games. It starts Saturday at Hampton. Let's go around the horn and give some predictions. Let's start with Craig. What do you think's gonna happen, man?
It's gonna be a tight ball game. Hampton's gonna be up for this one. I'm a little bit concerned about what our reaction is going to be after the game from last week. We're either going to play very well or we're going to be in for a dogfight. I think it's going to be more of a dogfight. I'm looking at us but I look for us to win it because I think we're better defensively than they are. I like us in this one, in a close one, 28-24.
Ooh, it's too close for comfort, Craig.
Yep.
Gee, all right, Doug, what you got?
Well, I mean, we're known for coming out after subpar performances and coming out giving our best effort. I think we'll come out, bounce back big. I think we'll go up early. I think that Hampton will put up a good effort trying to come back, try to throw the ball around a little bit. We know that passing the football when you're behind gives you a little bit of an opportunity or an advantage in college football these days because the officials won't hesitate to throw the flag, but we're going to get the job done. We made some corrections. We cleaned up some things. Look for Aggies to win by at least 2 touchdowns, take care of business, get back on the winning track, and heading back home, looking ready to kick off another wonderful G-Ho. Aggies big.
I got you. All right, so before Kennesaw, before the way we lost that game, I was worried this would be the one trap game. And, people hate the word trap, but I thought this could have been a potential trap game because it was between Kennesaw and Monmouth. But now that we're a desperate team, we're a cage, an animal backed up into a corner, I think we're going to have a heightened focus. We definitely cannot play any worse than we did on special teams. I don't think that's going to happen ever again. I think Money Brown's going to become money again. Mike's going to start punting right. I do believe that the wide receiver core is going to have a major bounce back game. Some of those balls that they drop, they're going to hold on to and take it to the house. And I looked at the film. Fowler wasn't as good in the second half as he was in the first, but he didn't have a terrible game. Like I said, he just didn't get a lot of help. So I think Fowler's going to remain consistent. I think he might pick up, depending on the wind, if we get some favorable wind conditions, I think he can throw for a lot of yards against his secondary. Hampton's not very good on defense, but they do have that puncher's chance with those receivers and that big quarterback.
Yeah.
I think Hampton might, score 17, points, whatever. But I like us to get like 41. I like us to, have a 4 in front of our number, and to win pretty convincingly. I think once we go up big, and at the beginning of the second half, Hampton's going to put the quit button, and it's going to get ugly after that. So as long as we just stay out of our own way and just take what they give us, we'll be all right. So I'm looking at 40. I don't know what the score was in 1999, but the number 41-24 kind of jumps in my head. So I'm going to go with that. 41-24, good guys, on Saturday. All right, BJ, it's your turn.
I think Hampton is going to come out with a lot of emotion. I mean, they made the jump to the Big South before we did, and they're hearing about it. So they're going to come out with a lot of emotion and they got some big play receiver. I mean, they might go over the top, and our secondary, so so they may score with us, but I think we just have too much talent, too much. I think our coaches will be prepared, and I think we'll end up being. I think it'll be close in the beginning, but I'm looking at more of a 34-21 type of game.
Now I'll tell you right now, if it don't go our way, you talking about people losing their mind on BlueDeathValley.com. Because I don't know if you checked out the fan forum, BJ, but we got a bunch of passionate, I'll say that. We have some passionate fans in Aggie land. And, oh, boy.
And hats off to those passionate fans that showed up down there. We had a good showing down there in Kennesaw. And definitely want to give a challenge out to the DMV Aggies to show up. It's been a while since
we need them. We need them.
So we expect them to show up to the game and make a little noise for the Aggies. The band won't make the trip. They required vaccinations for the entire band.
Right. That's a good point.
To make the trip. So
that's a good point.
We'll be on our own, but we've played well like that before. So,
but really Hampton has similar safety stadium rules as we do. So you have to have a proof of vaccination card or I think a negative test. So make sure if you're going up there that you have all that. You go on their website, I'm pretty sure they list out all their requirements. So you can prepare before you get on the highway. But all right, guys, so it's been another great show. We had a wonderful guest here. And like say, BJ, give me your social media again so I can just put in BJ Little on.
BJ Little 38. That's me on Instagram and on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And then I'm just BJ Little, on my Facebook.
Who you guys got Friday night?
We play Riverside Friday night, which our secondary is, we're trying to get back into secondary as well. So we're having some of the same
issues. Huh?
Yeah.
But we play Riverside, and if we win that ball game, we're in it's a 3-way tie for first place and then coming up is Dorman and so that's kind of
Mr. Fowler's old stomping ground.
Yeah, Mr. Fowler's stomping ground. Yeah, exactly.
Oh no. Okay.
So all right. We're just like the Aggies. We got everything in front of us. We had some losses in the beginning, but all our goals are still attainable. We just gotta play.
Okay. Well, BJ, I appreciate you coming out, man, hanging out with us tonight, bro. And
Thank y'all for having me.
do me a favor, man. Come by the website and the message board and give us some wisdom from time to time. We got a bunch of knuckleheads out here. They think they know football.
Talk off the ledge.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm reading them about every day. So I haven't posted anything, but I read them about every day. I've been reading them for the last couple of years.
I love it, man. Well, thank you so much, man. And I'm gonna check you out. I'm gonna get your phone number and everything. We're gonna have to link up with G-Ho, man. And,
yes.
Yeah, man. That's gonna be awesome.
Thank y'all for having me.
No problem, man. It's been a pleasure. So for Craig Turner, Doug Brown, and the A&T Hall of Famer, middle linebacker, BJ Little, I am Samaj Marsh, and this has been Inside the Valley. See you next week.